Can you hear me?
Yep.
Delightful. Always nice to be heard.
Always nice to be heard.
John, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Any luck with our friend?
Not so much.
Rookie, is that you or Lee?
I'm on.
No, I see you, Penny. I'm asking if Rookie is Rookie or if Rookie's Lee. Top him. Rookie, you gotta hit the mute button so I can hear you. So we're just waiting for Tom. Did you guys have any trouble with that packet link? Because Tom was unable to open it, but then I sent it to him via Google Chrome and I didn't hear back from him. So I assume that may have worked.
It worked. I had no trouble opening it.
Yeah. Okay.
What am I?
Is Rhoda coming today?
The packet link that I sent, remember Thomas Barato said he couldn't open it?
No issues here.
Is Rhoda coming today?
She's not.
No. And Lee will not be here unless he happens to be able to hop on at some point, but I don't think
So
so.
will we have a quorum?
Well,
We've got
3 of 5 is a quorum,
Got
so
our 3.
So no abstaining.
nope. Or if there is, we have to, you know,
Push it off.
The rule of necessity.
yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
It sounds like something out of Harry Potter. I love it.
Need Ken to hurry up too. Where's Ken? Oh, Ken. All right. No babies today?
No, not today.
We had a puppy at a meeting yesterday.
Nice.
Cute puppy too. Oof.
I had to talk at the select board last week for town government study, and I wasn't heard until about 7:30. And on a couple occasions, my son,
Oh, the witching hour, dude.
yeah, he kind of toddled in like, "Daddy, I still want food. Like, I'm still hungry. Like, just go to bed."
Better that than I gotta go potty.
Yeah, that was coming next.
Now you know what the rest of us town employees have to go through.
Yes. Right. I will start the recording when you call the meeting to order.
All right. In that case, why don't we call the meeting to order at 2:02 for the Real Estate Assessment Committee.
Oh, I believe it is recording anyway. Sorry.
Okay, perfect. As a preliminary matter, this is John Brescher, Chair of the Real Estate Assessment Committee. Please permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Thomas Barata.
Here.
Penny Dye.
Here.
Thank you. And John Brescher, Chair, is here. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Eleanor Antoinetti.
Here.
Ann Beaugrand.
Yeah.
Terrific. Any anticipated speakers on the agenda, please respond in the affirmative. I'm not sure, Ramos family, if you would like to chat. So I don't know if is it Rookie or Lee, but please just state your name if you plan on chatting.
Rookie Ramos or Edmund J.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rookie. All right, so good afternoon. This open meeting of the Real Estate Assessment Committee is being conducted remotely consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020 due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings. And as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Furthermore, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the Real Estate Assessment Committee is convening by video conference via the Zoom app, as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Meeting materials, all supporting materials have been provided. Members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. All right, let's get down to some ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, John Brescher, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, I'll go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any responses, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. Those items of public comment. After the members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment to those members of the public that have joined the meeting via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to speak must state their names and be acknowledged and speak through the chair. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. All right, good times. So we call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda, may I have an approval of the agenda as written?
So moved.
Motion made. Is there a second? Okay, motion made and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Not all those in favor, please just say aye. Thomas Barretta.
Aye.
Penny Dye.
Aye.
And the chair, John Brescher, votes aye as well. Terrific. All right, next item, public comment. Is there any public comment on the onset? I understand that I see Mr. Ramos is on. I believe someone else has joined us. We will, presumably, to chat about those items on the agenda, but if there's any other public comment, please let us know and sort of do so now. All right, hearing none. Next time on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of March 10th, 2020, way back in time, you know, before the world exploded. And,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had them on the agenda and then I forgot to include them, send them to you. So this is just an inadvertent postponement.
How young and innocent we were back then. And the October 13th and October 13th, 2020. Has everyone had a chance to look through those minutes? If so, may I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve both
Perfect.
sets.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion made and a second. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor, Thomas Barretta.
Aye.
Penny Dye. And the chair, John
Aye.
Brescher, votes aye as well. All right, moving right along. Orders of taking. Man, this is a good one. Let's see. Nantucket Homes for People, Inc. et al. 24th South Shore Road, 20th South Shore Road, 4R Blueberry Lane. Parcels, looks like 1 through 7 on Plan 2020-57, authorized by 2014 town meeting.
Do you want me to give you a little background?
I would love to hear some background on this one, please.
Okay. So you all have a packet and hold on a second. Let me get to the right place. So the town meeting article in question, the 2014 article, if you take a look at it, which is on page 21 of the packet, let me zoom out so I can see what I want to point out to you. You'll see that there is this sort of goes all the way down, what is it, Beach Plum, which we dealt with already, and Plover, some of which we dealt with, and then there's this strip of Hancock and Coral, sometimes erroneously known as Quail. On the old plans it's coral. I think somebody just thought that didn't make sense and said quail in the article, but it's coral. And there's a portion of Hancock that a taking hasn't happened, and then the portion of Hancock that runs, I'm anticipating Thomas asking about this. So the portion of Hancock that is not on this map needs to be authorized as well, and that will probably happen because that's pretty much within the bounds of a lot of these parcels. So that's going to happen in the future to complete this fully. But in the meantime, we wanted to take care of this since there is authorization for this. So you'll see it's divvied out into 7 parcels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 of which will go to the newly subdivided 28 South Shore Road, 2 of which will go to 24 South Shore Road, and the remaining 2 smaller parcels will go to Nat Lowell's subdivided properties at 4 Blueberry Lane and 4 Rear Blueberry Lane or whatever. So, and the pricing per the assessors is the base price of $2 per square foot when we get to that. FYI.
Okay. In the interest of full disclosure, our office has represented Nat Lowell in the past. I don't know if that matters, seeing as our policy is that we're just sort of going along with what town meeting recommends, and certainly we weren't involved back in 2014. And seeing as we only have 3 members, I feel as though I have to mention that. I don't necessarily think there's a conflict, but if anyone feels otherwise, please let me know. Okay. All right, committee members, any comments on the proposed authorization for the taking?
Yeah, I just have a question maybe to Eleanor. So we are to vote with one action on all 7 simultaneously?
Yes, you can, because it's basically one order taking document.
That's
But
what I
just
thought.
for the sake of clarity, when I give you all these materials, I include the deeds of the people the abutters who will be impacted and their own record plans. So you'll see which properties are impacted, because sometimes you all deal with one parcel and one property at a time, but this is one of
And
them.
then, okay, so the planning board plan of taking with the 7 lots, they're all in different colors just to differentiate them for us?
Yeah, I just wanted to call them out because it's sort of a busy plan, and it's sort of a funky shape of some of those, I think parcel 7 and 5 or whatever is going to Mr. Lowell. They're sort of funny sizes, but.
Okay, those are my only questions.
Okay.
Tom, do you have anything?
No, I'm good. I'm good. It's just a taking.
Yeah, okay. Any members from the public wishing to comment on this one?
Mr. Carlson and Mr. Ramus are 2 of the abutters, or have interest in abutting properties.
Got it. All right. Well, hearing no comments from the public, this all looks fine to me too. Someone want to make a motion to authorize the town to enter into the taking?
I will make the motion to authorize the town and to enter into the taking per the 2014 annual town meeting.
Beautiful. Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that for.
Okay. Motion made and second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
No.
All right. If not, all those in favor, please vote aye. Thomas Barrett,
Aye.
Penny Dye,
Aye.
and the chair, John Brescher, votes aye as well. All right. So that then brings us to the conveyances. Fantastic. For the Carpenters.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, if we want to let Mr. Carlson, Mr. Ramus know that they are welcome to depart now, unless they want to stick around.
What are we welcome to do?
You're welcome to, you can hang out if you want, but your matter is all set. So we've closed the matter related to 24 South Shore Road.
Right, and how long before we have to have another meeting with the Board of Selectmen to find out whether it would be available to be bought?
So Rookie, I'm going to email you, okay? I've emailed Lee all of that, but I will email her again so she understands. But the 16th of December is when the select board meeting will take place, at which point they will, presumably upon our recommendation, approve the taking, and they will endorse it. It will be recorded. And lucky for you, this is unregistered land. So pretty quickly after the recording of the order of taking and that being sent out certified mail to all the impacted abutters, then I can set up a conveyance. So it's either January or February.
All right, that'll be fine. You won't have to, if you've already sent us stuff, like I have the letter you sent to my dad. That was a certified letter where he was the trustee, now been replaced by Lee. So if you don't have to repeat anything, if you
Oh,
just
no, I do.
Oh, okay.
I have to.
All right.
It's required, but thank you for just
And make it easier for you then, huh?
All right. Thanks, Ricky.
All right, thank you all.
Take care.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. moving on to Carpenter, 14 Pequot. All right. Eleanor, do you want to go through this? It looks fairly straightforward, but for the fact that we have a walking easement. Oh, I think you're still on mute.
Oh, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. In anticipation, Mr. Barada is asking, because I know he always worries about these things, rightfully. We did take a very close look at I looked at the Google Earth and I looked at the GISs of all manner, and there is an existing path. And we have previous takings and dispositions in which there was a north-south path running all the way down to, whatever that is, Novadear Ave. And we wanted to retain the access, but not have it encroach entirely on the property of the people who are acquiring this, who own 14 Pequot. So we've set up, as we have with very many other properties, a reserved pedestrian easement. And if you look at the last page, the second to last page of page 61 of the packet and page 60 to see the easements. Okay, so page 60 shows the exhibit plan that will be attached to the deed. And it shows the sort of the red hatching will show where the pedestrian easement will be reserved, and it will connect to the existing 8-foot wide.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we worked hard to make that happen. We didn't want people encroaching on, you see these funky old paths that people have been, they may be really just the people who own that property using those, the way they look, the layout, but we wanted to make sure nobody's being denied access to a customary use to be able to get down to the beach. So that is being reserved, as we tend to do with these Surfside parcels. And the pricing is $2 per square foot. So it comes out to $8,100.
Have we been waiting on these people for a long time?
2011.
You may remember, John, without naming names, you had a client directly to the north who was interested in acquiring this. And when I went to pursue whether or not that would be available to your client, I found a very ingenious way to locate these people. So, because it's not always easy.
Well done.
It's not always easy to find.
Well done.
The deed is pretty old into the current owners, and going by U.S. snail mail is not always a successful way. But eventually, I did hear back from their son, and they have an attorney, an island attorney representing them, and
good.
So they're glad to be able to acquire this.
It's been a long time in the making for this one.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Committee members, any comments, questions, etc.? Penny?
Oh, good job, Eleanor.
Thanks.
That's all.
Tom?
Sorry, yeah, no, everything's good.
Yeah, and I'll agree. And not only that, but great job with not only tracking them down, but getting that easement to connect. That's a bit. I mean, I know that's been. I mean, this has been something that's been in the works for 6, 7, 8 years with getting these easements. This particular area of call it Woodbine, Pequot, or wherever you want to call it. And I know this was a challenge, and I'm glad this is something that didn't slip through the cracks. So great job all around.
Well, this is what we want to do. We don't want to take away customary access that people have, been having for time immemorial. So
right, and again, it's one of those interesting things that it's one thing when we do these and all at once, and it's all fresh in everyone's mind that we need the easement here, but this has been lingering for however long, and that we didn't forget about the easement. So again, Good job. Okay, with that in mind, is there any public comment on this? Okay, hearing none, can I have a motion to dispose of the parcel in accordance with the assessor's recommended price of $2 a square foot?
I'll make the motion to dispose of 14 Pequot, to dispose of the parcel as identified as parcel A, authorized by the 2011 annual town meeting for the recommended assessor price of $2 a square foot.
Motion made. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Beautiful. Thank you. Any discussion on the motion?
No.
If not, let's see, all those in favor, please say aye. Tom Sparita,
Aye.
Penny Dye,
Aye.
and the chair, John Brescher, votes aye as well. Great. Thank you all.
I want to thank you, the three of you, because I might in fact have a relatively easy presentation on the 16th with respect to these two matters.
You guys have been working hard on these, so. Let's see, approval. Let's see, now we have the approval of the updated pricing and neighborhood factors per the assessor presentation on October 13th of 2020.
Mr. Chair, through you.
Yes, please.
We put this on at your request and for obvious reasons, but it would be my recommendation that you do this retroactively, because although we've only actually had one disposition, which is the one that happened was approved last month,
Yep.
the price factor was considerably higher than the base $2 because of the location and neighborhood factor, but we did use the updated pricing schedule for that particular disposition. So it would be my recommendation, because when we originally looked at this, it was going to be adopted at the beginning of fiscal year 2021.
Right. But then we hadn't met.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that, but I mean, given that last month
Yeah.
we approved the price. So
That's okay with me. I don't know if anybody else has any comments on that, but I'm all right sort of going back in time to do this.
Fine with me.
Okay.
It's okay with me.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. So are we looking for, I suspect we're looking for a motion at this point?
Well,
yeah, I have a motion crafted if you want to hear it.
Well, I guess before we do that, any discussion from committee members, or should we just go straight to hearing what this motion is and then discuss the motion?
I had a few, I have a few questions in regard to all this, in regard to the pricing and the costs to the town, because from what I understand, the money that's paid for these parcels is for the square footage, price factor for locale, and then the closing costs for the lawyer fees for the sale of the property. There's no expenses of the town that are billed back to the client, to the parcel purchasers for the costs associated for the taking, dealing with the land court, dealing with the title research, the town staff resources, or any of the lawyer fees or anything in regard to getting the title for the transfer. And then also the time of the staff for the disposal via the meetings and everything else. And I've done some research in regard to this, and yes, according to Andrew's documentation, he says we've collected $10 million, but I believe that also includes some solid parcels of land that had nothing to do with the real estate, and also of the issue that we have the money that's coming in for that, and that the negotiated pricing before this was all started for the real estate yard sale program, it used to be done under an RFP, and the RFP pricing that back when this first started was a lot higher than it is now. And I'm just trying to get a handle on this, because we are spending as a town a lot of money in comparison to what we're actually, covering the cost for it.
Thomas, go ahead, Penny. I just wanted to
Yeah,
point
Penny,
out,
please.
we had this discussion last month, and we're not dealing with the attorney fees here. This is the assessor's recommended base price. That's all we're talking about right here. We're not talking about whether or not you guys want to evaluate and assess your own, rounding it up as Rob Randy suggested, or the closing costs. Those are incorporated at the end of the day in closing costs settlement statement. This is just the base square footage price. And if you guys want to take $2 and up it at your discretion for whatever reason that you have to have a good reasoning, you can do that. But this isn't about attorney fees and staff time. This is about the assessor's base price.
Sorry to be late. Tucker Holland, Housing Director for Nantucket.
Penny, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I'm not sure how relevant it is after what Eleanor just shared with us, but in a conventional real estate transaction, the buyer is not paying the seller's expenses, and the seller is the town. And then the town gets this property onto the tax rolls and has the benefit of that going forward as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna. These are excellent points, and I'm gonna chime in for a second on this. And I think that a lot of we did discuss this last month, and I think part of it, to a degree, is that it's not within our purview with respect to what the town wants to charge. In other words, what the town's legal fees are. I mean, if the town wants to start, charging for staff time and for upping the legal fee from Copeland and Page for the transaction, that's okay. I mean, that's up to them to do. I don't think that's up to us to do, and for a real good reason. That the days of a homeowner going to the town and asking for the town to carry the water and submit a town warrant article for paper streets, those days are gone. These are all citizens' articles these days. So whatever they're doing, the citizen has to do those. The citizen, whether they do it through council or through themselves, they're incurring those fees, not the town. Now, again, if there is staff time, if there is town council time as it relates to the taking, and then ultimately the taking at least, then yeah, the town council should, if they feel that they should charge those, then yeah, then the homeowner should pay for that as well. But right now, it's just banked into the to the disposition. And moving forward, I understand these things, but given sort of the history of this program and what we've been through over the last 10 years and where it has gone, I think it's tough to give a blanket like, okay, well, we need to charge everyone more for all the work that has been done in the past. Penny.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's a policy decision that needs to be made by the select board. I mean, that's not our purview.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And Tom, to your point, I don't think you're wrong about town council not charging enough. Or that they could be charging more. Absolutely, I think that is a good idea. That is up for them to work on, but it's not within our purview. And frankly, I think, again, to your point, my sense is that you're going to have people okay with paying like another hour, 2 hours, or whatever time there is for town council to do the taking document. I mean, I don't think they're going to bat an eye at an extra $180, $300 or whatever it may be when it comes time for settlement.
I've looked at some of the legal fees associated with some of these properties, and some of these properties back, a while ago, over a 3-year period, were anywhere from $2,000 to $30,000 in legal fees because of the more complicated issues. So some of them are very easy peasy and some of them are more complicated. And I don't think the Board of Selectmen have any idea in regard to what the average cost is for the town for the process of selling these properties. Nor don't think the town Board of Selectmen actually know what the future income is off of putting it back on the tax base versus what the costs are that we as a town incurred to put it back on the tax base. And I think, I think that needs to be explained to them so that they can understand it. And yes, is the real estate, yard sale program winding down? Yep, because most of the stuff is already done. All the big good properties have already been done, and I'm sure it's going to be winding down. And so we can't go back and collect cash from what we've done, but going forward, there should be at least some type of accountability that, the powers that be know exactly what the costs are that are incurred and what the average costs are that we expend on this program and what we're bringing in for it. It's like I just learned, just as a side example, I learned the other day we have a trench repair revolving fund for roadways, and there's no funding source for it because we don't charge to have the roadways opened up. Yet we have a fund to fix the roads, but there's no money for it because there's nothing to be generated for it. So, that's the issue. We're giving this stuff away at a very discounted price, and there's no money coming in to cover the costs of staff and everything else. And I think we've been giving it away way too long. And I don't think the Board of Selectmen have a true understanding of what our expenses are in regard to it. So if I need to address it with the Board of Selectmen directly, I guess that's kind of where we have to go, because as a committee, they haven't charged us with that directive. I mean, does that make sense? I guess I have to address it with them directly because it's not in our purview as a committee.
The thing is that within our purview, it is for pricing. We can't dictate what what town council charges.
Oh, I understand that, but it's also, pricing is, do we as a committee feel that the $2, now that it's $2, do we feel that that's an appropriate price to cover what an average cost is to do this program? Over time, we've got a base amount of properties that we've done in the past with expenses that we can correlate to kind of have an idea to say, maybe $2 isn't enough. Maybe it should be $6, or maybe it should be 10. But there needs to be some median that says, on average, if it's not a complicated issue, then, this is what would do so that it would basically cover most of the costs. So some are winners and some are losers for the town, but they're not all loss leads. So I don't know. That's just one of my, I guess it's just my concern is we've done this program for so long and it doesn't seem to be breaking even. And in regard to bringing the money back on the tax rolls, unless it's waterfront property, it's pennies on the dollar of what we're getting back for the tax base on a yearly base. So I'll let it go for now. I'll go for the $2 amount because at least it's better than the $1. And I will I'll bring it up in regard to Board of Selectmen and then see if they want to give us a charge to go forward in another avenue.
Again, I just want to say, I don't necessarily disagree about the true cost of one of these transactions. I think that it's an interesting point. I don't think that it's something. I don't think it's something we can factor into our pricing, because the fees that are associated with it are beyond our control, because of town council fees, etc. And because of that, I understand. But look, if town council at some point says, "Look, we're going to charge you a flat fee. We're just going to charge you $200 or something for each one of these," then maybe it makes sense for us to revamp our pricing structure or bank into it with more funds, or a higher price, knowing that we're trying to recoup some of the fees that town council has flat out said they're not going to charge for. But until they say that, I wouldn't feel comfortable sort of doing their job for them or asking them or telling them we think you need to charge more. I mean, that's up to them. And I can't get over that fact. But I understand what you're saying. I think it's a good point. It really is.
All right.
All right. Any other comments on this pricing discussion for the time being? If not, can I have a motion to approve the increase in price as discussed?
You want to hear my crafted motion?
I'm sorry. Yes, I want to hear your crafted motion. That's where we were going with this. My apologies.
Just a thought. You don't have to take it. The motion was made by Penny and seconded by Thomas, or vice versa, that the REAC hereby votes to adopt the recommendation that the base price be increased to $2 per square foot in conformance with the assessor's most recently approved price schedule policy to take effect retroactively at the beginning of fiscal year 2021.
I just made that motion. That sounded good.
That was really articulate. I'm impressed.
Really better than I could do.
All right.
Very good.
All right. Motion was made. Motion was made by Penny. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Beautiful. Motion made in second. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor. Tom Barretta,
Aye.
Penny Dye,
Hi.
John Brescher votes aye as well. Cool. Okay. Next up, I believe we have, let me get back to my agenda. Continued discussion regarding the memo to the select board explaining the pricing structure and review. Ken, you're up.
Yep. Well, what I'd like to do is to have you review this and authorize me to discuss this with Libby as the basis of our recommendation to the select board, answering the request that was made a little bit over a year ago in terms of a review of the role of the Real Estate Assessment Committee and all of the things that we do and what we look at when we make a determination as to the property and as to our recommendations to them as to the acquisition and or disposition of properties. This was originally drafted by me. I spent some time with Libby, incorporated a number of her suggestions. Most recently, Eleanor made a number of additional suggestions. And so I'm really very comfortable with it where it is. And I would ask that unless you have some significant other changes, that I be authorized to present it to Libby for her to review as a basis for the response to the select board as the structure and the situation with respect to REAC at this particular point in time.
All right. Any comments from committee members? Penny?
No, I think it's really good to have this encapsulated in one place like this, showing the history. I did have a question. Let's see, current climate change issues, including runoff. Where are we getting that information? Sorry, top of page 67.
Yeah. Eleanor, you had given me that was one of the things that we looked at. And so I defer to you as to whether or not that is correct, because we get the information, that's part of the information that has been in the package that we have been presenting to REAC.
I'm just wondering what the source of that information is. Is it provided by, who provides it?
Eleanor, do you have an answer to that? This was in item 7 on page.
I know. I don't think that came from me, Ken. I don't think that particular.
Okay, well then take the words including runoff off that, because I know
Hold
that.
on, let me look at the original one, because you.
I just was wondering where it came from and what does that mean? Because
yeah, that didn't come from me.
Okay.
Let's see. Libby's edits maybe where it came from. So hold on, I have all of these things. So just let me.
I also have a question in regard to the paragraph where it says the highest and best use based on current zoning, however, factor in the price
Hey,
determination.
Thomas, we cannot hear you. So can you maybe fix your microphone?
And where is that he's what can you tell us where the paragraph is?
Yeah, it's just below your paragraph.
And it is, by the way, Libby, coming back to you, Penny, that addition of current climate change issues, including runoff, came from Libby's edits.
Okay, so that's something new.
Yeah, I think because of the,
That's
you
it.
know why, because of
Low Beach Road.
resiliency.
I just want to make sure if it's something we're supposed to be doing that we know where we're sourcing the information on that.
I think the idea is to involve coastal resiliency when appropriate.
Right.
I think that's right.
I just use,
Or I should say, I think coastal resiliency would like to be involved when appropriate.
Yep.
I just, huh.
Thomas, where was your comment?
One second, I just closed it by accident. It was towards the end. I have to reload the page.
It's in. I think he's talking about
67, middle paragraph in the red on at the last sentence. Middle paragraph. It says, the highest and best use based on the current zoning do, however, factor into the price determination in cases where gain in ground cover is substantial enough to allow significant construction improvements. So it's putting in the words factor into the pricing determination, but we're not factoring any of that into any of the pricing because it's a set formula.
If I may point out, if you remember what I said earlier when I was telling you that the previous discussion was about the base price factor, it has been discussed in previous meetings that you all have the discretion, that's your base, but you have the discretion to increase that if you see a good reason to do so. For instance, in the case of One Big Beach easements, there's zero consideration because of that factor. But if you, Thomas, think that someone's getting a huge amount of additional ground cover and they have tons of building potential, now, I'm not telling you to do this because I know Penny had concerns about that and there are reasons to have concerns, but I put that in red because you may or may not want to keep that there. It's just, there have been discussions in previous meetings where some people felt that that should be taken into consideration in the final price that you guys set for a given parcel, using the base price as your denominator.
Because in one way you already do that, because when you have waterfront or whether you have a property that has a special location, you don't stick with the $2 a square foot. You in fact create an additional value based on the location, whether or not it's waterfront or whether it's on the cliff or wherever it is. So in a sense, that is already part of the practice that you engage in as a committee.
Yeah, that's a location factor for. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Thomas, or did you still?
Well, it sounds different. That's all. It just the way the wording is. But yeah, I guess going forward, if we determine that someone's able to get, you know, an extra 700 square feet of ground cover, then theoretically we could request more. But the problem is that the odds are, is most of these parcels that we're selling, it's already assumed by the buyers that they've already kind of got an agreement or an understanding of what it's gonna be. Because we've never used a potential build out factor in any of the pricing that we've ever done.
I warned people.
I don't think that that's right, Thomas, because I know that since I've been involved, and one of the questions that is always asked by Matt, and which we address, is the ability to provide additional ground cover as a result of the amount of land granted. And those were the questions, particularly with respect to the low beach properties, which were in fact done under the procurement process. But in any event, that's an issue that is looked at, and it's one that we have addressed with respect to the additional ground cover available or the subdividability of the lot as a result of the additional ground cover. And in those instances, for instance, with respect to the property in town that Deb Killen had, we put a provision in it that the property couldn't be subdivided in spite of the fact that they were given the extra land that would have allowed for subdivision. So,
And I would like to point out, to piggyback on what Ken said, is I actually, in the past few months when I've been corresponding with people regarding an upcoming conveyance, the base price is X per square foot, but you should know that the Real Estate Assessment Committee has at their discretion the ability to change that price and augment it. So people are not necessarily, it's in writing and in emails from me, they cannot count on that $2 a square foot or whatever it is. It's up to you all. But that's something that I would like you to make a decision about whether or not you want that to be part of your policy. That's why that's in red. I put it in red because that's not my opinion. I know that it has been discussed in the past. I believe Matt brought it up. I believe you, Thomas, brought it up. I know Penny had some concerns.
Understood.
So if you want to take it out, I'm fine. Again, those are just, it was just wanting to cover potential concerns and bases. That was really why I put it there.
We'll leave it in there because that way it's part of the charge.
Okay, any other comments or questions on this one? All right, do you want a motion for this, or is this more of an FYI?
What I'd like you to do is to indicate that this is your recommendation to me to take to Libby for her to use as a basis for her report to the select board on the status of the REACT.
Okay.
As a motion?
Is motion or just a recommendation that we're good with this?
I would just give you, you're directing me to move this forward as your staff person relative to addressing the request of the select board.
Thumbs up from me.
Me as well. I cannot believe that this is what we were dealing with in early March. And you think of what's happened since then.
No kidding.
It kind of boggles the mind.
No kidding.
Yep, looks good.
A lot has happened. Okay, great. Thank you all for that. All right, any other business? If not, time and date of the next meeting, I believe. So, they need us in January?
Well, yeah, I believe like the Carpenter conveyance will happen. I have something else teed up that it just wasn't ready with the survey plan yet. So I should have at least 2 things, presumably
Okay.
January. And if it comes to the situation where we don't need to meet or we can or things aren't ready, we just don't
Great.
hold the meeting.
Fine.
So January, looking at the month of January, I presume Ken can confirm select board will be meeting on the 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th. And typically their real estate matters will be discussed on the 27th of January.
Right.
So that leaves the week of the 4th and 11th as suitable weeks for us to meet.
Dare I say the 12th at 2 o'clock?
It's fine with me.
What day of the week is that?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Okay. Can somebody remember to email all of us?
Oh yeah.
I will as soon as I can confirm the Zoom availability.
Right. I mean, that's the other layer of complexity.
Is the 11th a holiday?
I looked on my calendar. I don't see it as one. So perhaps it's the 18th is.
Yes, the 18th is the
18th is it.
Martin Luther King.
Okay.
Mondays are better.
I mean,
We always meet Tuesday though.
I don't.
The Affordable Housing Trust always meets Tuesday too.
Yeah.
Do you want to move it to Monday? It makes
I'd rather-
zero difference to me.
Monday, January 11th, 2 p.m.
Much
Yeah.
better.
Okay.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay. I'll go see about the Zoom. All right.
As I'm putting it in my lovely calendar, done. Boom. Good for me. Okay. With that in mind, and we said no other business, may I have a motion to adjourn at 2:48, please?
So moved.
Seconded? Oh, I'll second it. Why not? There we go. Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of adjournment, please say aye. Tom Barretta?
Aye.
Thank you. Penny Dye?
Aye.
And the chair, John Brescher, votes aye as well. All right.
Eleanor, would you do me a favor and send me a clean Word copy of the report so that I can then deal with Libby on it?
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a happy holiday.
Thanks.
Thank
As
you.
well.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.